This would actually be part 2B on learning theories. We're going to look at social learning theory and holistic learning theory. This is designed to give you the big picture. Social learning theory defines learning as adopting or acquiring new thinking, new ways of thinking, or new behaviors by observing others, what they are rewarded for and what we are punished for. We learn by interacting and by observing. Learning, according to this theory, is the potential to act. Behaviorists said learning is a change in behavior. Here, learning is a change in the potential to act. What should pop into your mind is Alfred Bandura and his experiment with Bobo the inflatable clown, and how that observational learning, how that affected students' behaviors. There are 4 conditions necessary for social learning, and you can see these here. And factors that influence observation. This is the status of the model, similarity, potential for modeling that behavior, and perceived competence of that model. And if you're not familiar with these 4 things or those 4 things, review in your book or look in your notes. Vygotsky says learning occurs from outside to in. All learning occurs in a social context, within the context of society or the environment or the group that you are with. All right? Thoughts, feelings, ways of thinking are all influenced by our social context. Here are some terms that with which you should be familiar, and the 2 big names in social learning theory. And again, this is just to provide an overview. Learning. Holistic learning theory. This is a theory. A theory is a set of facts. It's a way of thinking, a paradigm based on a set of facts. So according to this learning theory, learning is the process of growing, evolving, and being. It's a natural state. Learning is for a fully functional human being. Humans are naturally curious about their world. Learning is expanding consciousness, both internal and external. Consciousness is what we are aware of. So it is expanding our awareness. Learning, evolution. Learning is continued transformation upward. Transformation upward. This growth, this change, this expansement. Learning, we could say, in a bigger context, is the ability to be better able to nurture yourself, others, and the environment. Learning, we are able to nurture and transform through knowledge and skills. Learning theory says humans naturally want to learn, grow, transform in many dimensions. It is a state. It is the human condition. And some of these dimensions involve all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4. Schools tend to focus just on that and maybe that. Holistic learning theory says humans are not born defective and have to become something. Humans are naturally whole and complete. We are good. We naturally want to evolve. Just like when we get a cut, the natural inclination for the body is to heal. Just like when we are not knowing, the natural inclination of the human, of the mind, of the being is to learn, to grow, to progress upward. Well, what happens then when there is evil, when there is sickness? That means there has been a disruption in the natural process somehow, or there is a dis-ease or disruption of what is normal and natural. So this does not say there's no such thing as evil or evil people. We say that the natural human condition is to be good, is to have this upward growth and evolution. But sometimes things happen in the external world, or things happen within the physical, spiritual, psychological being of the human involved. Real learning occurs when you align the curriculum, the knowledge and skills that we learn, with students' natural inclination to learn and transform. When you do this, teaching and learning becomes effortless. We align teaching with students' personal lives, their interests. We have this individualized learning experience, more creativity, more choices for students, not this mass-produced slop that we call education today. Humans best learn from whole to part to whole. That means we get a sense of the whole, we immerse them in authentic activities, then we teach them specific skills, and then we allow them to re-engage in the whole again. So the whole means that what you're doing in the classroom simulates what they do out in the real world. You teach them then the skills to better be able to do the whole skill. And then you allow them to re-engage in the skill again, and it goes whole to part to whole to part to whole to part, upward and upward. Learning occurs not in lines. It's not like a car going down the assembly line and you add parts. But learning occurs in upward, evolving spirals. We need to touch knowledge and skills many times at successively higher levels. Think about that learning to be a teacher. The traditional motto, which I disagree with wholeheartedly, says that you simply go through the conveyor belt, we put knowledge and skills on, and when you come to the other end, you'll be all learned up. Well, that does not happen. We do not create finished teaching products. We create the conditions where you are better able to begin to learn the process of teaching. But you will touch these ideas at different levels. The ideal place to teach an ed psych class is after teachers have been teaching for 3 or 4 or 5 years. That gives you a sense of the whole as you are immersed in the classroom. Then you come back and we give you knowledge and skills. You have a context because you've been immersed in the classroom. And then we throw you out again. Real learning is never whole or complete. You never completely learn anything. You are always learning and expanding. Here are some terms with which to be familiar, some names. Montessori is one you've heard of. Steiner, you've heard of Steiner schools, and Rogers and Maslow. All right, 4 learning theories, part 2A and part 2B.